Hey guys, walking into Walmart here, and I'm heading in because I've had a lot of guys reaching out to me and saying, I haven't been fishing in 20, 30, I had a guy actually reach out, I haven't been fishing in 40 years, I'm not sure what to buy. There's so much and it's a bit overwhelming. So I'm gonna walk you through my recommendations for some rod, some reel combos, some lures if you're just starting out, wanna catch some bass. It's not gonna be the high-end stuff, it's not gonna be the cheap crap either, it's gonna be right in the middle for that weekend warrior to get out there and start catching some bass. So let's hop in and hopefully not get caught by a Walmart associate. All right guys, here we are. First, let's talk about a rod and reel combo. Guys, I'm gonna highly recommend getting a spinning reel and rod combo around the $68 to $78 price point is what you're going to be looking for. I actually own a couple of these. These are Affinity Speed Sticks. It's going to be a medium power, moderate action rod. If you're not familiar with action or power, I got a video on that. I'll put it down in the description below. But this setup right here is going to be perfect for fishing for those bass, your Senkos, your drop shots. This is going to be where it's at. Now, I would recommend, if you're beginning and starting out, stay away from these guys right here. These are going to be your bait casters, and it might be down the road a bit, might be a good option for you. But if you're starting out, I'd recommend starting out with the spinning reel. It's going to be a lot easier for you because these things rat nest. So maybe down the line, but at the beginning, stay away from the bait casters. All right, next we're going to talk about some line. There's basically 3 types of line. You're going to have your mono, you're going to have your braid, and you're going to have your fluorocarbon. And I highly recommend starting with 8-pound fluorocarbon. This stuff right here, I use it from time to time, works well, and it's going to work really well with the lures I'm about to share with you right now. And holy crap, now this is where it could be a bit overwhelming. There are literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of lures to choose from. And man alive, some of these are expensive. $9. You know what I do with this one the first time I threw it out? Yeah, get it stuck under the water on a log. Guaranteed. Deep diver, $9 lure. I'm getting it lost. All right, the first rig I'm going to set you up with is the Wacky Rig, which involves a couple things. You're going to need a 5-inch Senko. Now, I usually either buy one of 2 Senkos. It's going to be the Gary Yamamoto, but you can see those are $6. Or if you're in a budget, you can come down here to the Creme brand, $1.25, and you get 5 of them. And what I look through is I try to find the green pumpkin. Now keep in mind, these are a lot cheaper because there's only 5 in here, so technically it'd be $2.50 for 10 of these. In the Gary Yamamoto, it's $6 for 10 of those. So 60 cents a worm, 25 cents a worm. Guys, I highly recommend the Gary Yamamotos. These things, it must be their salt content or something, but the way that they sink and the action, the bass just love them. So these sink really well. If you're fishing in like 1 foot of water, 2 feet of water, these are not going to fall as fast. So sometimes I throw one of these on if I want the worm to be suspended in the first foot of the water. But these things are great, and you're going to have to hook them up. So let's head over to the hooks. And there's a ton of hooks to choose from. All right, when it comes to hook, I'm usually looking for a size 1 octopus hook by this brand, Gamakatsu. But if they don't have, which they don't actually have these here, I'll look over and try to find a size 1. Here, a drop shot hook. This will work just great. Guys, there's a lot of hook options here, and I highly recommend don't cheap out on your hooks. We spend thousands of dollars on our reels, our rods, our boats, our kayaks, and to come over here and buy a cheap hook, man, I bought cheap hooks before, and I've paid the price because they bend out on big bass. So do yourself a favor, spend the extra $1 or $2 and buy nice quality hooks. So if you're confused by hook sizes, I totally understand that there's sizes and then there's odds. I did a video on that, and I'll put it in the description below. All right, now to hook up the Wacky worm, it's really simple. Just take one of these hooks right here and tie it onto your 8-pound fluorocarbon with a Palomar knot. If you don't know how to tie that, I have a quick video to learn now, and I'll throw that in the description below. And then you take this hook and run it straight through the middle of the worm. Now, like most lures, just because you tie it on and throw it out there doesn't mean you're going to catch a bass. So I have a video on how to retrieve the Wacky worm. I just went on a trip with a few buddies over 4 days and caught over 300 bass, primarily using the Wacky worm. So it's going to perform for you. All right, the next lure I have for you is the Ned Rig. Usually you find those down here at the bottom. Down here, made by Strike King. They don't have them actually at this Walmart, which isn't a big deal because I have a few of those at home, so I'll show you what they look like. But the Ned Rig's going to allow you to fish the bottom of that water, which is really nice. And also, if you fish it correctly, the middle water column as well. So I'm going to share with you a video in the description below how to fish the Ned Rig. And man, with the Wacky Rig and the Ned Rig, you have the top, middle, and bottom water columns all figured out, and you will slay some bass. All right, guys, now that you're back in the fishing aisle, if you haven't been fishing for a while, you might as well get your fishing license. I know it's only $25 here in Ohio, so you don't want to be caught without one of those. It goes to stock all those fish that you're catching. But let me know, have you ever been caught without your fishing license, and what happened? I'm actually really curious. All right, the next thing I'd recommend if you haven't been fishing for a while is to get a pair of needle nose pliers. Now, if you don't want them to rust, getting an aluminum fishing pliers would be great. Here they sell some Ozark Trail. I have a pair of booms that I really like. They're tethered, which is really nice as well, so you can hook them up to your bag. They're only $15.36 for those. Or you can buy a real cheap pair of carbon steel pliers for $4. Then you'll be set and be able to get any hook that maybe a fish had swallowed really deep that you can't reach with your fingers. Get them out with a pair of pliers. All right, a few last recommendations for you is a bag. These are going to be really cheap. I like these Plano 3600s, only $22. 3700s, only $25, a little bigger. I got a couple more recommendations for you. It's going to be these guys over here. Guys, highly recommend getting a scale. Being that you haven't fished for a while, probably catching your personal best, and you're going to want to be able to weigh that bad boy. And I love these little clips too, because the other ones you just have a hook that you hook under their gill, and a lot of times they'll jump off. And the last recommendation is these guys right here. Get a clipper. You can also use scissors as well, but these clippers are nice for cutting line, especially if you're using braid. A lot of times this will get that knot that's left over on a lure, so highly recommend getting one of these guys as well.